and then a house for the rest of the family, right? Got to keep that separation, otherwise
Exactly.
you go crazy.
I can. Yep. I can do my
There
podcast.
you go. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're going to go home for the holidays. You're going to see your family. They know you're a photographer, right?
Oh,
Of course.
absolutely.
I'm sure they listen to this podcast every week, so they know.
I know where this is going, and I like your
It is
segue.
going to our first topic this week, which is covering family events. So this is
Yeah.
a story we found on F-Stoppers. It's obviously satirical, but for some pieces,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
might be realistic. Who knows? Basically, the story here, and you can read it in the show notes, is all about how this guy is like talking to his family. And he's like, "Hey, bro, can you take my picture for my business card and for my website? And oh, can you do this?" And he's like, and sister's like, "Can you take a photo for my Instagram page and all this stuff?" So it's kind of like, again, when you know somebody in the family who has a skill, you're like, "Hey, let me capitalize on that person who has that skill." Any kind of like similar or experience, where your family is like asking for your photo
this
support?
this this struggle is real. I mean, it happens a lot, and it's not just with families; it's with friends and all that
Yep.
kind of stuff. It's like it's like suddenly you get this great invite to a party, or a New Year's Eve party, or a wedding, or something like that. They're like, oh, can you bring your camera and just shoot a couple shots? I mean, this happens all the time. And what other profession does that happen with? It's like, oh, you know what? Why don't you come over for dinner and bring your legal briefs because I have some stuff that I want to go over for free. It's just like it is kind of. Yes, we photographers I think are creative and we love what we do, but don't we also like to enjoy our moments in downtime and holidays and stuff like that. So if you expect us to kind of work for free, that's it's sort of the last thing I ever want to do. So if I was a cook, and I'm going out to dinner, it's like I would not want them to say, "Hey, can you come in the kitchen and cook your dinner?"
That's
It's
right.
like it happens a lot, and I think people need to say, it's like, and just throw it back at them. It's like, if your dad's a computer engineer or something like that, or a computer programmer, say, yeah, I'm going to bring over my computer. I want you to build it during Thanksgiving too, you
That's
know.
right.
So maybe they'll get the idea.
Well, I give up on like trying to help my family members with their computer issues because it's a never ending struggle. If you've had that kind of issue with your family members, your parents or whatnot, but it's like with my mom, I try and show her something, and it's just why bother? Um,
It happens. But my brother does the computer thing. He fixes computers in IT and up with their laptop. It's like, come on.
yeah. Well, has there been an instance where any of anyone is like a specific instance that you can remember where, someone has asked you for your photo services, either family or friend, or at a holiday event, or had them look at your stuff? Can you think of any specific instance that's happened to you?
Oh, there's definitely times, it's like you get that a lot. And my mom will be like, "Oh, bring your camera."
Mm-hmm.
It's an event that, and suddenly it's turned into me enjoying it too. Like if I bring my camera, just let me shoot, not be expected that Travis will cover it and put up a
Right.
gallery or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. It's like it has to be my kind of feeling. Like if I'm bringing my camera, it's because I want to shoot some pictures, not because he'll bring it, he'll cover
Yeah.
it.
I can say I've never been asked like by family members at any like holiday gathering, because I would go home almost every year for the holidays, either Thanksgiving or New Year's or Christmas, whenever I could get away.
Right.
And like no one has ever said like, "Dave, bring your camera and shoot this event," and then yada yada, follow up, process it. I've always voluntarily brought my camera and shoot because I love to shoot and because I think recording those family gatherings is important. It's important to me, and I'm the only
Yep.
person in the family who's an actual true photographer. So it's like if I don't capture it well, who's going to capture it? And so I like doing it. I enjoy those memories. I gather the entire family around and we do a group photo. I set up my tripod and I do a nice group photo. So every time I'm there, we have good photos. And that's because I think capturing that stuff is important. But maybe I would be less inclined to do it if someone asked me to do it. If my brother
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, bro, I need you to cover the family holiday event," I'd be like, ugh. Then it's an obligation. It's not something I want to do.
Yeah.
It's like,
And suddenly, yeah, you're working during the holidays and not because, I mean, what we do is work, It's like,
absolutely.
it's not just like, hey, I'm having a blast. It's like we
Hmm.
look for moments. We use our creativity to capture these things. And suddenly we're brought outside of it and working.
That's right.
I just recently, I had a friend, who throws a big Halloween party. I get a text, it's like, hey, you want to come to my Halloween party? I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. If I'm around, I'll do it. He's like, oh, why don't you bring your camera? I'll throw you $100 to take some pictures. I'm like, oh, there it was.
Yep, 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 yep. And of course, they want the discount rate, right? Because they're your
Yeah,
buddy.
like $100 that gets you not even an hour.
Yeah, yeah, no. And that doesn't even count processing. Come on.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking about this. Actually, Ron brought this topic up, I think, and I was talking to him about it on email, and he was like saying, I don't pick up my camera unless I'm getting paid for it. It's like that kind of thing. Like he's not working for free. But again, I've never had any issues doing with, and I'd be happy to continue to do it. And if it was with my family this year, I would absolutely do that for them. I've actually photographed like all my sisters, or I'm sorry, all my wife's sisters' weddings. Like I just bring my DSLR, bring my camera kit everywhere I go because I'm a shutterbug and I like to use the camera.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I actually did a wedding video for one of my wife's sisters for her wedding. She did not hire a videographer to shoot her wedding, but I just happened to be like, I'll do it. I volunteered myself to do it because I've never done wedding video before, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
low impact, low stress. No one expects anything of me. And it wasn't the best product, but it was better than nothing, which is what she would have gotten if I'd done nothing. So,
But as soon as you said I shot some video, they're like, I want it.
oh yeah. Well, what's funny is,
And it's a big deal. It turns into a big deal.
what's funny is like, it takes a little bit to edit video, especially when you're trying to craft something good. And so after
Absolutely.
like about a week or so of me working on it, somebody was like, "So hey, what's up with that video, huh? Let's get that video made, huh? Where's that video? You mean the one I'm doing for free in my free time
Exactly.
on my holiday, on my
Yep.
vacation? Yes, I'm working on it. I will get it to you when I get it to you." But I did get that done while I was down there for the holidays, so they could all watch it together and stuff like that. So it's a nice little keepsake.
Well, that's a nice thing. I mean, especially if you're a professional photographer and stuff like that. And those family moments, and especially with the kids growing up, stuff you want to have just turns into a really beautiful keepsake and something that you should have, and would feel guilty if you didn't.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, again, I get satisfaction out of it. I enjoy bringing my camera. I can get the idea that you want to separate yourself from your work. I mean, like for instance, you're going down to Florida, right? Are you bringing your camera gear? Are you planning to shoot?
It's actually funny. The last couple of years, I've gone down to Florida, and by the time December rolls around, I'm exhausted,
Right.
and I'm just like, the last thing I want to do is I try to like recharge the batteries and stuff like that. And the last couple of years, I've gone down to Florida, and everywhere I go and travel, I bring my camera, and I'm shooting all the time. For some reason, Palm Beach, I have no incentive or no desire to shoot anything, and I've had my camera the last 3 years, and I'm like, this is the best place for me to like clear my brain because I have no desire to shoot anything. I have just no inspiration. So it's been pretty good going down there to clear the head because I just don't want to shoot anything.
Okay, so maybe I missed it. Are you bringing it or are you not bringing it?
Oh, I'll have
Okay.
it, but I just never use
Got
it.
it.
It would be weird for me not to bring my camera. Everything. It's sort of like my cell phone.
Sure.
It's like I have to have it
Absolutely.
with me.
Yeah, I can't not bring my camera on vacation. I can't not
Yeah.
bring it home. I would feel like I've left something behind if I didn't bring
It's
it.
an appendage of me. Yeah, it goes where I go.
100%. But yeah, I can see like with this example, if people start like saying they need stuff from me, then it's going to be something like, okay, let's talk, let's talk prices here. Like I think even actually my brother, he's a real estate guy, right? He's in real estate, and he has been doing lots of cool things actually down in Florida. He has. He does real estate videos. He actually puts himself on camera and
okay.
he introduces the homes and he walks people through them and he
Yeah,
narrates
yeah.
them and stuff like that. And, he hires a videographer and an editor to do that for him. But that's been very successful for him, and it's not something I see very many realtors do. Like a lot of realtors, especially the ones I've worked with to sell my homes when I've moved, they'll do the typical stuff. The website with the images on it, and I've actually, like when I was leaving Mississippi, I made a sort of house video with my video camera. I shot all the photos of the house because I wanted to make sure they were of highest quality possible. And so, but again, I like to see him doing that. But there was early on, he was like trying to get me to sort of like do stuff for him, mostly like with website design and
Right.
stuff like that, because that's something I used to be much more into back like a couple decades ago. And it just came to like I wasn't motivated to help him out with that because it's like I would have worked with him, but it seemed like he wanted me to do it for him for
Right.
free. Like, build
Yeah.
my website for me, and then we'll talk about maybe other projects or something like that. Let me see if like Joe, look at my portfolio. If you like what I can do in my portfolio, hire me. If not, like I'm not doing spec work for you. You
Yep.
know.
Yep.
I don't know. Have you ever had an instance, in any thing where like the client has asked for spec work, or is that just not something that happens?
I think no, it's a sort of a devalued thing that what happens is a lot of times you'll have charities or nonprofits and they say, oh, well, we don't have a budget for that, but they're spending, $50,000 on
Oh my
flowers.
God.
So for some reason they don't have any money for the
Mm-hmm.
photographer. And that's probably one of the most important things because at the end of the day, no one's going to have the flowers. Nobody's going to have the, memories. They're going to have what they want is that picture, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're going to use throughout the year to promote and show what they've done and stuff like that. So somehow the memory of that has been devalued, and they think they can get for free because someone else will shoot it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of very disappointing.
Yeah. No, it's the state of the industry. We've talked about it many,
Yeah,
many times. But anyways, looking forward to the holidays. Like I said, I'm taking a
yeah,
vacation, but I'll still have my camera with me. But if I wasn't, I would take my family and take pictures at Christmas. But again, like I said, I don't want to get into my personal life and what's going on with our family and whatnot. But again, when we did have events, it was home. It was nice. And again, I love taking photographs. So have
Oh, I
fun.
do have to say, I might actually be taking photographs down in Florida this because the Airbnb that I rented is all
Mm,
like black and white and funky. So I might actually
mm,
see if I can get a model down there or something like that because it's a
mm.
very funky house to shoot, and that might be fun.
You bring up an interesting point when you say model. I'm like thinking,
Hmm.
hey, you could ask your family to model for you. They could be your model
Oh
unless you
no,
need like model, like actual models.
you've seen my shots, I think.
Okay, got it. Actual
I do like
models.
the normal person portraits and stuff like that, but for something stylized like this, I'm gonna go with some professionals, and I will pay them.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, absolutely. Where are you going to get your models, by the way? Like, do you have a specific agency you go with, like Model Mayhem or something, or?
I've never used Model Mayhem. I know a lot of people that have used it and have good or bad stories with that. And certainly, if you're starting your career, you don't know where to use, and that's a good tool to use something like that. I usually have a center of circles that I've used, and I've built up a network through Facebook and stuff like that. So no matter where I'm going, I can kind of put it out there. I'm going to be shooting in this town or this stuff like that. And there's lots of different ways to look for stuff through either Facebook or through word of mouth or people you've worked with in the past. For me, I'll put it into my circle of knowledge and see what I get back, and I'll usually get some names and find out who or where or what. I've used modeling agencies to say you have new talent or something like that. They want some test shots and stuff like that to work with, and certainly I have an arsenal of people that I've worked with in the past that I'd like to work with, and when I'm testing stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't want to get too far off into this rabbit hole, but I am curious though. You said you hire models, right? You pay them, you pay models to show
It
up.
depends. Some are test shoots, and that's knowing they'll get photographs of the shoot and stuff like that. And then some, if it's more concept stuff and it's someone I want to work with, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And are these models, are they bringing their own like makeup people? Are they doing their own makeup? Are you hiring a makeup person? Like, because I mean, that's a
It
whole other
depends on the
aspect of it.
extent. Yeah, it depends on the extent of the shoot. Obviously, the more you bring into it, the more costs go up.
Sure.
So if you're just trying something because you know a good location and you want to try some lights and stuff like that, you'll have a model and they'll do their own makeup and stuff like that and hair, and you'll talk to them in advance saying, "Oh, well, this is what we're looking for" and stuff like that. And you'll hire some people that I have some people that I work with that are very good at doing their own hair and makeup, and I've worked with some models that use no makeup or hair at all and are gorgeous. They're natural, and we go for that kind of natural look. And the girl next door, and like they look fantastic. So it really depends on what and you're going for. Because if I'm going for a highly stylized shoot, that's going to be very advertorial based or fine art based, I would pay for a hair and makeup because it pays for itself.
Yeah,
The look
absolutely.
and just that extra pop. Every little thing makes a difference in a photo, and if you have the right makeup and the right colors and the right hair, it's a lot of work to Photoshop out little hairs that are flying away, and they do fly away. So if you have hair and makeup doing a nice hair job and stuff like that, it not only makes the picture look better, but it makes your life easier in post.
Oh yeah, 100%. I did some, short film work when I was living in New York, and those are productions, hair,
Yeah.
makeup, sound, film, background, DP, all that stuff. So you get people there. Then you have to start getting catering. Then you have to cover travel expenses. So
It takes a village.
that can get pretty pricey. But
When I worked in film and TV, you start looking at, you realize of all the things that could go wrong on a film, from, back when they shot, film actually in these cameras, they would always say checking the gate, they would check it for hairs and stuff like that. Just that one thing could ruin a shot. It's like there's so much that could go wrong in film. It's amazing that these things are done.
yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic tonight.
Topic 2.